A boy named Walt Disney, the fourth of his family's 5 children, was born on December 5, 1901 in Chicago. When he was 4 years old, his family relocated to a farm near Marceline, Missouri, where he learned the importance of honesty and a good reputation from his father, Elias Disney. On the farm, Disney loved animals and became interested in sketching using a sketchbook gift given to him by his aunt. Although his father taught him about hard work and persistence, he never understood his passion and always considered him the family's black sheep. His mother, Flora Call Disney, would often calm her husband down and advise him not to get angry with Walter as he is just a kid. Walt's greatest companion was his brother Roy, who always encouraged and supported him in every way. When his father became seriously ill, he sold their farm and moved to Kansas City, where Walter met a boy named Walter Piefer. Both developed stage ambitions, but Walt's father often frowned on show business, compelling Walt to sneak out and meet his friend at a local theater. After his father bought a newspaper delivery route, Walt assisted him with the deliveries for the following 6 years by working before and after school and on weekends. Many of the compulsions and behaviors he had as an adult came from the restrictions and discomforts of assisting his father in delivering papers. Walt's fascination for animation. When Walt was 13 years old, he got inspiration from a film print which made him believe that he could also draw pictures. From then, all he ever thought was animation. He wanted to be an artist, but dreams don't come true without much failure and hope. One day, when Walt tried to sketch in class, the class teacher punished him by crushing his hands inside the desk. To sharpen his skills and talent, young Walt studied cartooning in Kansas City through a correspondence program and then attended seminars at the Kansas City Art Institute and School of Design. In 1917, the family relocated to Chicago, where Walt enrolled at McKinley High School. In the meantime, he was attending evening school at the Chicago Academy of Fine Arts, while also doing illustrations for the McKinley High School newspaper in the hopes of one day landing a career as a newspaper cartoonist. Walt dropped out of high school at age 16 and tried to join the Navy, but was rejected for being underage. When the United States entered World War I, Walter enlisted in the Red Cross Ambulance Corps. Disney spent his time chauffeuring Red Cross representatives and performing other duties, meanwhile sketching on duty soldiers to keep his talent alive. Late in 1918, not long after the armistice that ended the war, Walt was dispatched to France. After returning to the U.S. in 1919, Walter spent days in Kansas City with his brother Roy. Soon, Walt got a job at Pesman R. Rubin's commercial art studio for $50 a month. During the 1-week trial, he worked at the drawing board and made a friend, Ube Iwerks. Walt was too passionate that even if he had to go to the bathroom, he just held it until noon. In 6 weeks, he worked there. He learned tricks of commercial trade until Pesman lost a large tractor account which compelled him to fire Walt. Launching of Laugh O'Gram Studios. On the other hand, Walt's brother Roy had to go to the Navy hospital for his tuberculosis treatment. Walt was yet again back to delivering newspapers just to make ends meet. One day, sitting with Ube, Walt got an idea to start his own company. Their other friends, Hugh and Fred, working at Pesman's company, joined their little commercial art shop, which they set up in a barn with $250 in his pocket that he earned during the war from drawing caricatures for his friends. As Walt saw his animation sales in Newman's Theater, he borrowed money from his old family friend to pay the animators and get a better place to work. But he had to rely on Roy and his government pension for financial support. Initiation of Disney Brothers Studio. Soon, Walt decided to work on his top-notch Alice reel, but still, he needed the money for investment. Despite Uncle Robert's constant disapproval, Aunt Charlotte convinced him to loan Walt $500 to set up his camera in the garage. After sending a sample of his animation to a prestigious animator, Miss Midge Winkler, Walt got a contract to do Alice comedies. He relocated to Hollywood and founded Disney Brothers Studio with his older brother Roy. While setting up a team for his new company, Walt meets Lillian Bounds and fell in love with her. After finding her perfect to be life partner, Walt took no time to marry Lillian. Everything seemed to pile up, but Walt didn't know that the traitors would again destroy his business. After creating several short animated cartoons, The studio launched a series in 1927 centered around a creation of Walt named Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. But in a severe setback the following year, Walt lost the rights to his famous invention, and several of his workers were poached in a business battle. Birth of Mickey Mouse. To eliminate constant anxiety and stress in his life, Walt needed a new character and the right people to make his dream a reality. One day, Walt came up with a character initially given the name Mortimer Mouse, but soon converted into Mickey Mouse to make it sound catchier. After its approval by the company, Mickey Mouse made his screen debut in the 1928 short film Steamboat Willie, one of the very first animated films that includes synced sound effects. The mouse swiftly rose to fame, and soon children's clubs, souvenirs, and a comic strip were created in his honor. Walt disapproved of the way the character sounded when Mickey first spoke in 1929's, so he decided to give the mouse his own voice until 1947. Walt Disney was skilled at giving his animations convincingly lifelike traits. His innovative use of inspiring tales and moral values allowed him to convey them deftly and catch the audience's imagination. Walt's popular animated films. A brand new generation of artists evolved at the training school where Disney quickly expanded his studio operations, enabling the creation of the first feature-length animation, Snow White. The company created many additional popular animated films after Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs' popularity, including Pinocchio, Peter Pan, The Wind in the Willows, and Bambi. Effect of World War II on Disney Studio. This golden era of animation ended after America entered World War II in 1941, and the studio suffered while producing unsuccessful propaganda movies. 1942 animated short called The New Spirit, commissioned by the Treasury Department to encourage citizens to pay their income taxes to help the war effort, was one of the instructional films made by Disney personnel for various government agencies during the war.
This is our fight. The fight for freedom. Freedom of speech. Taxes will keep democracy on the march.
The Donald Duck starring movie received an Academy Award nomination and was screened in many venues. The Disney studio also produced training videos for the American military and more than 1,000 insignias for military units at no cost. The designs featured both classic and contemporary Disney characters. Cartoon animation was in significantly less demand throughout the war. Disney didn't regain some of its glory and fame until the late 1940s. Disney has completed the production of both Peter Pan and Cinderella. Walt Disney Productions started extending its reach into well-liked action movies in the 1950s. They created several popular films, including Treasure Island and Pollyanna. Opening of Disneyland. Walt didn't stop his struggle and opened the most popular amusement park, Disneyland, in 1955 in Anaheim, California. After taking his kids to various amusement parks and witnessing their enjoyment of the rides, he got the concept for the park. He decided to create a place where the whole family could enjoy themselves. Disney World started in Orlando, Florida, in 1971. Since then, Disney theme parks have debuted in Paris, France, and Tokyo, Japan. Why Walt established CalArts Institute? Although the idea of developing parks was big, it was not big enough for Walt. Disney also founded and supported the California Institute of the Arts, also known as CalArts, in 1961. He saw this as the pinnacle of arts education, where individuals of all kinds could come together, dream big, grow, and produce the diverse range of art forms that the world would require in the future. Production by Disney Studio. The Disney Studio had produced 280 television programs, 47 live-action films, 330 hours of Mickey Mouse Club television programs, 7 true-life adventure features, 78 half-hour Zorro television adventures, and 21 full-length animated films. Disney successfully invaded television in 1954. Praises and awards. In his lifetime, he got 22 Academy Awards for his outstanding efforts, in addition to 4 honorary ones, and was honored to have won 7 Emmys. Services provided by Walt Disney during his life. Walt is credited with starting the golden age of animation by introducing a new ideology to the field of animation. The majority of the cartoon characters we recognize today, like Mickey Mouse to die, like Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Goofy, and others, were created by this global icon. Walt was a genuine showman in every sense of the term. With his groundbreaking concepts and imaginative visions, he radically changed the entertainment business and was a pioneer in the field of animation. Walt revolutionized how people saw animation throughout his more than four-decade career, and he alone is to credit for the start of the golden era of animation. He began as a simple animator but quickly developed into a corporate tycoon, rising to prominence in the American animation sector. Walt's death from a life-taking illness. On December 15, 1966, Walt Disney died of lung cancer, which might be due to his constant smoking throughout his life. The Disney company was run by his brother Roy after his passing, but Walt Disney's vision and brilliance were lost. Before experiencing a revival in the 1980s with a new generation of films, such as Who Framed Roger Rabbit and The Lion King, the studio had a largely inactive decade in the 1970s. What can we learn from Walt's life and struggle? One can learn several meaningful lessons from the legendary Walt Disney. It is pretty clear from Walt's life story that if a person pursues what he loves and does his best in it, no one can stop him from becoming an icon one day. His life had several ups and downs, but he never let obstacles prevent him from becoming the #1 animator of his time. Moreover, if Walt had stopped after creating the cartoons and never had made a step in developing theme parks and a university, he could never be remembered as much as he is now. This shows us that how much you get successful, you should keep on upgrading your content and try to make it famous worldwide. Walt's journey was never a piece of cake, but a challenging way where he was deceived, hated, and thrown to the ground financially. But he never lost hope and showed his competitors that his animations were worth praise. Once Disney said, "All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them." If we take Walt's life as an example and do our best to achieve what we struggle for, we can convert our dreams to reality instead of merely chasing them. Subscribe for more engaging videos like this. Hit the bell icon and be the first to watch, like, and comment. Thank you for watching.